At Costa Vida Fresh Mexican Grill, we source high-quality ingredients and make our recipes from scratch every day. Starting with our fresh tortillas to our chips and queso, Baja Bowls, quesadillas, tacos, and more. Find us at CostaVita.com or in South College Station today. That's our friend Holly Johnston owns Costa Vida in South College Station. Last week, fighting Texas Aggies, I said a roller coaster of a week. Saturday was a roller coaster of a game. But you have the highs and you have the lows. And on Wednesday in Oxford, that would be the highs as the Aggies defeat Ole Miss 63-62. Manny Basi with what proved to be the game-winning bucket in that game. And if you also remember, he quickly not only hit that bucket, but immediately went on defense. The Aggies got one more stop. But you know you have a special team with the Aggies who are 15-5 and 4-2 in conference play. There's a joy for the player who hits that shot. There's the joy for one another, and I think that is absolutely illustrated by Jace Carter talking about the joy for Manny Basi.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so proud of him. If y'all know Emmanuel, he's one of the most consistent people I've ever met when it comes to his work. So, at the half, he wasn't, obviously as excited with how he was playing. So we kind of had to bring him up, lift him up a little bit, and, he won us the game. I think he had 12 in the second half. Huge 12 points for us. We really needed him, and I'm happy for him as a human being, for him to have that success and for him to help us win that game. You see me? I was turned. I was happy for him. Just for us to win that game and for him to have that type of moment for him, I love it for him, and I'm happy we got the win. Yeah, I was on the bench. If you look at the clip, if you look at a picture of it, I'm mouth open, geeked up. Win the game. I was excited he made the shot, and then, we needed to get a stop on the other end, and I'm glad we got to walk out there with a win. I think it just goes to show how we're raised as human beings and as people, from our parents and our mentors, to never give up and just to keep going. It was a rough game for us, trailing the whole game, and we never gave up, never really looked at it like we were going to lose the game. Our huddles were always super tight, and we just had the approach of we're not going to lose the game. So if you look at it from that standpoint, it just goes to show who everybody is and how they were raised, and Coach Buzz is a great leader for us, and he always instills confidence and positive enforcement to us.
I use the word intentional an awful lot with Buzz Williams. It's intentional when you bring in players like that. Jace Carter talking about Manny and the joy for one another. That was evident in the poise for one another on that 40 minutes of that sideline. When we come back to, by the way, Jace also brought his two dogs. He had his dogs, so then he started talking about the dogs that are on this team. So that just elevated Jace even more. The other thing I want to bring up when we talk with Buzz in the next segment, when the Aggies beat LSU at home on Saturday, there was no way A&M was losing that game because Jace's mom did the prayer before that game. So there was not a chance A&M was losing that one. We'll talk with Buzz when we return. We're at Rudy's 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. It's the Aggie Basketball Hour with Buzz Williams. And this is Aggie Basketball from Learfield. When you want a quick, delicious, and nutritious hot meal in minutes, look no further than Heat Ups. Convenient, high-protein meals on the go with local pickup in Aggieland. Head on over to heatups.com to place your order. Heat Ups, meals made simple. We continue with the Aggie Basketball Hour with Buzz Williams. The Aggies, Oklahoma tomorrow at Reed Arena, Saturday at South Carolina, back on the road, and then in a week, a bye for the Aggies. Buzz Williams joins us here as we talk about this one. Buzz, would roller coaster describe the week that was last week for Texas A&M?
We saw it from both vantage points.
we did.
The highs and the lows.
Yeah.
We led for 12 seconds in the first game, and we led for the other 39 and 48 seconds in the second game. So I think that's just part of it. We failed in the opportunity that we had on Saturday. We hate that, but I think the response of our group, I anticipate, will be what it's been all year long. And the truth of it is, in this league and with the margins as thin as they are, you don't have any other choice but to respond the right way. And whether it was Norman 2 weeks ago, you could say they won the game from start to finish in many respects. A lot of unbelievable things had to happen analytically for us to come back and win at the buzzer. Same thing for us, to be honest, in Oxford.
Yeah.
And then same thing for Texas on Saturday. And we need to prevent that from happening. That hasn't happened since we've lived here. We have to learn the lessons from all three of those, regardless of result. And I think we've tried to do that as a program since we've been here. I think the one thing, we've had a lot of reps of this. In the country, we are third in the country in 2 and 1 possession games. We're 6-3. There's 2 teams ahead of us that have both won 6 games but have not lost 3. And so we purchased 5 of our 20 games. The other 15 games have been quad 1 or quad 2. And 9 of those 15 games have been decided by 1 or 2 possessions. So 60% of those games have been decided by 1 or 2 possessions, and we have 11 regular season games left. And if 60% of those, there's going to be 4 or 5 or 6 more of these. And so that's kind of the tone that we have talked about throughout the year. We continue to live that margin. That's why Carpe Somnia is our theme of the year. We played in 14 of those last year and went 6-8. Thus far, we've played in 9 of them, and we're 6-3. And so we need to handle the results the same way and prepare and learn from what transpired, good and bad, and move on to the next one.
But the response isn't tomorrow night at Oklahoma. You've already seen the response from 2 days before, haven't you?
Yeah, and I think that's we've tried to manage all of that the right way. And I've said it before, and I'm not complaining because I understand it's part of business at this level. This is starting week 5 for us, and each of our 4 weeks has been alternating weeks. 1 week is Wednesday, Saturday. The next week is Tuesday, Saturday. The next week is Wednesday, Saturday. Now we're starting this week, and it's Tuesday, Saturday. And so what ends up happening is your organization works 9 consecutive days in a row. So last Sunday, we were off because we played Saturday at home, and we didn't play until Wednesday at Oxford. So we were off on Sunday, work Monday, work Tuesday, travel to Oxford, play Wednesday, obviously, get home Thursday morning at 4. You have to work Thursday.
Yep.
You work Friday. You travel to Austin. You play Saturday. You get home Saturday night. You have to work yesterday because that's 2 days before. Right. Today you work. Tomorrow you play. 9 days is an extended period of time, particularly if 2 of those 3 are on the road. I don't think that there's any of those where we play 3 in a row on the road.
Right.
But when there's 2 of the 3 on the road, that adds to it. And that's not happening to us and not happening to others. But when it alternates every other week, that kind of adds to it. And so the topic of conversation yesterday, to your point, there's 2 buckets. And you can give your energy to something you can't control, or you can give your energy to something that you can control. And you get to decide where you're going to give your energy. And if we continue to give our energy and emotion to what took place on Saturday, then that's a poor choice because that takes away from the energy that's needed to have a chance to be successful tomorrow. And so our guys were very receptive. Their spirits, they understand. They hate that it happened. They are very receptive to coaching and teaching, which is rare, but that speaks to who they are. And we had a full day yesterday. I just finished. That's why I was late here. We just finished tonight, and we'll start again in the morning.
Here's Buzz Williams. It's the Aggie Basketball Hour with Buzz Williams. We'll talk more when we return. That's Aggie Basketball from Learfield. When you need a new roof or just have a pesky leak, you want to call on the winning team at Shelty Roofing, home of the bulletproof roof guarantee. Get the best. Visit SheltyRoofing.com. It's the Aggie Basketball Hour with Buzz Williams. We're at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. And we get a chance to talk with the head coach of the Fighting Texas Aggies. It's funny you say that there's 9 1 or 2 possession games. Games that we thought were going to be 1 or 2 possession games that weren't because A&M played so well. You would expect Ohio State to have been one of those, right? Mm-hmm. You would have expected Wake Forest to be one of those. And some games, Buzz, that, in all honesty, when you're watching the game, Oklahoma's not going to possibly be a 1-possession game. But it reminds me of something that you've said before. In a game that's going to have 150 possessions, what's the most important one? every single possession becomes the most important, correct?
Yeah, and I think that it's not coach speak. I just think it's the truth. Like, why did you win? Well, there's multitudes of reasons. Why did you lose? There's multitudes of reasons. Well, pick one. Well, it's okay. Well, I have 4 kids. Which one do you like the most? Pick one. You know, like there's just layers. It's like relationships. Hey, why did you get married? Well, I like her. Well, why? Well, there's a long list. Mm-hmm. And I think it's the same when you're talking about a team. And if you're talking about the sample size, to your point, is 150, okay, well, which one? Well, we need to score it better at the rim. That's right. Well, we need to shoot a higher percentage from the free throw line. Yeah, that's right. Like, you can pick and choose, but a lot of those things are correlated, right? Like, we've really focused on a few things that we think can contribute to our defense continuing to be top 10. And we've made unbelievable strides in the last 2 weeks. And from a metric standpoint, after each game, I continue to show those things to our guys. Same exact thing offensively. Our offense today is ranked 39th. Okay, how can we get in the top 30? Well, this category and this category, let's only focus on those two because it correlates to the overall number. And I think that one of the things that I mentioned today to our guys is, from a competitive standpoint, whether you play at home, you want to think that that's an advantage. When you play on the road, you tend to think that's a disadvantage. But you have to kind of remove all of the variables that you can't control. 9 are going to be on the road, and 9 are going to be at home. And you know, from a statistical standpoint, this is the best league in the country, and it's for sure the best that the SEC has ever been. And so one of the things that I showed them yesterday was, okay, here we are. We're 4-3. We've lost 1 at home, and we've won 2 on the road. So we're +1 after 7, and we have 11 more to go. Okay, now let's just look at the standings. Now just pick a team. Pick any team. And they'd pick a team, and I'd go, all right, now go to the schedule. Well, Mississippi State lost to us at the buzzer. What happened the game before? They lost to their rival at the buzzer in overtime.
Yeah.
What happened the game after us? They lost at Missouri. Okay, pick another team. Pick Georgia. Yeah, Georgia led 39 minutes and 52 seconds on the same night we were behind that long. Okay, they lost at the buzzer. What happened the next night? They lost at Florida by 30. And so I think it's like anything else. You want to keep it going, but how can you respond to the next thing? And I think that what I mentioned to them today was, we have to, if you know that every game is going to be a 1 or 2 possession game, and you assume statistically that that's the case. You play Purdue and Indy, it's a 2 possession game. You play Texas Tech in Fort Worth, it's a 2 possession game. You play Rutgers in Las Vegas, it's a 2 possession game. You play Creighton in Las Vegas, it's a 2 possession game. You play Central Florida in Orlando, it's a 1 possession game. You play in Oxford, it's a 1 possession game. You play in Austin, it's a 1 possession game. You play in Norman, it's a 1 possession game. Okay, well, there's a lot of data that says no matter who we play, home, road, or neutral, it's going to be 1 or 2 possession. So if we know that information, what should that trigger us to do? And Solo said that it's going to be 1 or 2 possessions. Perfect. So our mentality should be, no matter when we play, who we play, what Vegas says, it's going to be a 1 or 2 possession game. What else? And Henry, we call them specials. All the specials that happen in Oxford. Okay, we have to be aware of our specials, and we have to have a plan to stop the opponent's specials. Good. All right, so assume that it's going to be 1 or 2 possessions. Be able to execute on both sides of the ball in special situations. What else? And Jay said, we have to continue to find a way to save a possession, by a possession. I go, yeah, so there's constantly going to be tension on where can we save a possession by a possession. So what has our tension been in this film room the last 2 weeks? And everybody said defensive rebounding. I said, okay, so now let's look at defensive rebounding after LSU, defensive rebounding after Ole Miss, defensive rebounding after Texas. That's our 3 best games, defensive rebounding percentage. And look, numerically, we went from 223rd to now we're 132nd. Okay, so we have bought ourselves possessions by not allowing the opponent to get an offensive rebound. What's another tension? We have to defend without fouling. Okay, so look at that. We addressed that after LSU, and look at what has happened since. In Austin, first half, they made 0 free throws. Second half, they make 14. So 30% of their points in the second half came from the free throw line. 4 of them we gave them from technicals, and 10 of them we couldn't guard the ball. Okay, well, if they score 45 and 14 are from the free throw line with the clock stopped and we have the lead that we have, now all of a sudden there's tension on we have to defend without fouling, and obviously we can't get technicals. What is the tension that we've been focusing on offensively? We have to. We're 4th in the league in getting fouled, but we're 16th in free throw percentage. Okay, we have to continue to figure out a way to make a higher percentage, and so like that's demented, as I've said before. But like when your group is accepting of, no, we have to prepare that away, we have to teach that away, we have to practice that away, we have to play that away. And so when we have breakdown drills or when we're focusing on one specific thing, we only have so many reps. We couldn't practice yesterday, so it was a mental practice. And now we had 1 rep today, and now we get a half a rep tomorrow morning. And so those reps, we need to strategically plan those reps. Who's playing? How are we going to mix and match our roster relative to their personnel groupings? So that's part of what coaching is. That's part of what playing is. But that's the acceptance of the thin line, I think is, like I was telling the guys, hey, did y'all think we were going to lose in the last ATO at Oxford? No. Well, we were down 11.
Right.
Yeah, Coach, we believed. Well, so them other kids on the other side when we were on the other end of it. When we were down 18 in Norman.
Yeah.
Did y'all think it was over? No, Coach, we're still going. Well, so are they. You know what I mean? And so you just have to accept that they're aware too.
Right.
They have good players too. They have good coaches too. Like, that's what the tension is.
He is Buzz Williams. We'll continue with the Aggie Basketball Hour with Buzz Williams as we're at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. Stay with us. It's Aggie Basketball from Learfield.
You're on. You're up.
Head on over to your local Rudy's or Rudy's.com to place an order for the real Texas barbecue. Enjoy 100% oak smoke meats, delicious sides, and Rudy's signature sauce. And don't forget, Rudy serves made-to-order and grab-and-go breakfast tacos every day until 10 a.m. Alongside Buzz Williams, head coach fighting Texas Aggies, it's the Aggie Basketball Hour. If you had the answer to this question, you would probably be undefeated. Ready?
Okay.
How do you keep momentum, and how do you seize it back when you've lost it?
Yeah, that's the key to life, right? Yeah, that's like, yeah.
Right, coaching would be easy then, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's life. That's ball. That's, yeah, any of that. It's the hardest thing to get, and it's the hardest thing to keep.
Like how do you the 2 games last week, Buzz? How do you go about looking at Oxford, what you did well, what you didn't do well? And the same thing, the first half, great half of basketball. The second half, it's Texas with that. How do you assess those 2 performances?
Yeah, I think, again, and I mentioned it to the media earlier today, and it's not because I'm trying to be sarcastic or act as though I have the answers or that even that I have the right answers. Team rule number 1, always tell the truth, comma, no matter your emotional state, period, secrets or lies. And we have a lot of problems and have had a lot of problems, but we've never had a problem with team rule number 1. Right. Because they know that that's the one thing that I can't get out of my heart if I feel as though you have lied, told a white lie, exaggerated. And so we coach like that.
Yeah.
We teach like that. And that's not always the most prevalent thing to do in this day and age. I think that's why the selection of the people in the program, whether they're players, whether they're coaches, whether they're helpers, whether they're – that's a manager. Like, so, hey, why can't we make free throws? Y'all not practice? Are you the shooting coach? Like, all of that trivial barbershop Twitter. I don't participate in any of that. No, we've kind of went about it always the same. Tough guys make free throws. Right. And so if you're having the yips, then practice more. And if practice doesn't solve it because it's not a physical thing, then it's a mental thing. So then if you get fouled, make the shot in your mind before you shoot it physically. And if you can't make it, then just sub out. And is that the right approach? Probably not. It's probably not sustainable to do 18 more years like I've done these 18 years. But I think, like, we address things in real time, and we don't exaggerate those things. And as often as we can, we're going to show pictures before we give it words. And when it becomes repeated, we give those words a specific language. And if you're in our film room, even if you're kind of somewhat knowledgeable about ball, we don't really use the same terms because we try to give language to every single thing that we do, offensively, defensively, and it's an acquired – it's like learning to speak a different language. And as you accumulate reps and as you see pictures and as you see it, do it, write it, I think you just become more versed in it. And I actually think our staff has done a phenomenal job. If 60% of your games have been decided by one or two possessions and you're 6-3, in truth, that means you could easily be 3-6 in truth. And if we're 3-6 instead of 6-3, we're not 12th in the things that matter.
Right.
Now, understanding that means you have 11 more, which means 4 or 5 could be the exact same thing. And you have to understand that those numbers could flip. And so that's why I think the information our staff has been giving them in real time is how does it apply now, and then how does it translate to the next game. And, you know, like a uniqueness about the league this year is you only play 3 teams twice.
Right.
And so now you're playing 12 individual opponents one time. And so your language relative to that preparation becomes monumental, in my opinion. When you play Kentucky, you're playing Kentucky once, and Kentucky plays atypical to anybody in the league. So you're not going to have the language of, now, guys, you remember when we played Monaco's team, they did this? Okay, well, Corey's team does that too. When you play Kentucky, there is no comparison. And so now language becomes so important because in real time, they can only respond to the language that they know because what they're competing against is brand new. Okay, well, Oklahoma, we can take our game as study. Well, then they've already had their bye, and they've played 4 games since, and they're on a 2-game winning streak coming out of their bye. Okay, well, they're a different team and how they're utilizing some of their pieces, and they've played a little different. Well, we can give language to that because we've played them before, and so there's some familiarity. But Wednesday will be our off day, and as soon as we go to early bird Thursday morning, okay, it's 2 days before, it's another road trip, it's another late-night game, and it's all going to be new language because it's a new opponent. And some of our guys are hoop junkies, and they know what's going on, and they know all the players. Some of them have played so long that they kind of know style of play, but not all of them. And so I think the only thing you can do is give them information that they can contextually understand, comprehend. But what's most important is you don't just need to understand it. You need to be able to execute it.
Right.
And I think that's the thin line of knowing. Like I tell them all the time, guys, I don't want to give you a book report. I've already read the book. I know the book, but I'm not trying to teach you English. It's not what I know. It's what you can do. And so we have got to make sure that what we give you is what you understand, but that you understand it so well in our language that you can apply it. Because just because you understand it doesn't mean you can do it in real time.
Yeah, it's the John Wooden, if you haven't learned, I haven't taught.
Sure.
Right?
And he also said something about if you got a bunch of stuff in your brain, your feet are slow. So one or the other.
Yes.
I think I must have read the Cliff Note version of that book.
I think you did, but that's outstanding.
I went to junior college.
Yes, you did. You know what? I'm going to take this final break, going to give us more time on the back end for the final segment. We come back. One more segment, Aggie Basketball Hour with Buzz Williams. Stay with us. It's Aggie Basketball from Learfield. When you want a quick, delicious, and nutritious hot meal in minutes, look no further than Heat Ups. Convenient, high-protein meals on the go with local pickup in Aggieland. Head on over to heatups.com to place your order. Heat Ups, meals made simple. I think from here on out, the rest of our Aggie Basketball Hours with Buzz Williams, I'm going to go clip what you read for Heat Ups, and I'm just going to play that. So you can get
really?
You can get the live mention. And
I've only been eating one a day for the last 17 days.
So I'm thinking, you know what? Like you say, you've never taken anything from anybody. There's the live mention. In broadcasting, they have personal endorsements.
I got to know a watch dealer I've always wanted to watch. I got to know a watch dealer in Milwaukee, and he kind of liked me. I kind of liked him. He wasn't a basketball fan. I like those people more because I feel like I can be myself and I don't have to talk about ball. And so he would teach me about watches. And so anyway, as time unfolded, he was like, Buzz, I'll just give you one. And I was like, for what? He's like, well, you can just come in and do a radio ad, or you can come in and sign autographs and take pictures. And I go, for a watch? How much does the watch cost? XYZ. Well, that ain't worth me doing a radio ad. So, no, I don't want that. And then all of the people with my clothes have always wanted to. I want to pick out my own clothes. I want to buy my own clothes. I don't want anybody to tell me that you gave it to me because I was the coach.
That's where you and
I just feel like that's
where you and I differ.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Now,
I don't want somebody to give me something because of my title. Because to me, I feel as though you're only giving me this because of my title. And so if I didn't have the title, you wouldn't give it to me.
Would you give it to Brent Williams as opposed to Buzz
no,
Williams,
they wouldn't.
Right?
No, they wouldn't.
No,
because they don't even know my name's Brent.
That's admirable.
Yeah.
That's admirable.
No, I don't know if it's admirable. I just you get what you earn.
It
so whatever I have, I want to feel like I earned it. And to some degree as a parent, I think that's important for my kids to see. I understand we've been way more than we deserve. But I don't want somebody to give me something just because of my title.
Right. Because sometimes it's more about them than about the gift to you.
Well, I think they're using my title for them.
Right.
And then I don't think that that's the appropriate example to our players. And I know the world's changed in that regard too, but that doesn't mean I have to on that.
Okay, I'm going to stay on this because you know me, I jump the track.
But I'll read Heat Ups for free because I have bought every meal.
I mean, from now on, I'm giving it to you.
Okay.
Speaking of watches, where did the Rolex come from for 10 years with you in a program? Was that an idea from somebody? Or did you
it was my idea. Yeah, we've done, Corey and I have bought 6 so far. It has become a little bit more costly than we thought. Black Rolex, they don't make them anymore.
Really?
So that's turned into a different market. Josh was the 6th person to get his. So after 10 years, wherever they join the bus, and no matter where the bus is currently residing, once they have 10 years of service, I've presented it to them after game number 1.
Wow.
So Jamie was the first. Mm-hmm. Devin, Coach. No. Jamie, Devin, Lyle, Coach, Ernest Eugene, who's the director of sports medicine for the Orlando Magic now. Josh is 6. And I think Rock, are you at 9?
He's at
so that means we have that means somebody's in line for somebody has 9. TJ has 9.
Gotcha.
So TJ is going to have 9 if I get to his 10th year.
He's got to do game 1. Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm still coaching next year, I bet TJ's still with me.
That's 2 things.
And
there.
I think wherever I'm coaching Rock, if I'm still coaching for 2 more years, Rock will take off the Timex and wear the Rolex.
Have you seen Josh wear it yet?
No, and you know what else about that? And Corey said that to me a couple of times. She goes, I've never seen any of them wear it. I go, they might have sold it. But, on the back, this is another part of the process is I can't say it eloquently enough, but a Rolex doesn't have a battery, which is part of the shine of it, I guess. But I have the back of each Rolex monogrammed or engraved, which you have to take it apart because it will mess up the Swiss timing. Yeah. And so you have to get it to a different person to do it. And, Corey taught me, I love you more. Yeah. So that's what we say to our kids. So on the back of each of those watches, it says, I love you more, Buzz. So that may knock down the value on the market
trying to
eBay.
resell. Yeah. But
if they just take pictures and don't show that.
Yeah, but the emotional part, the connection part has to mean so much.
Oh, I think they probably all still have it. But
I would think
I've never seen them wear it. Rock will wear his. Yeah, Rock will wear it every day. TJ won't wear his either.
He'll wear his.
Yeah.
Hey, you brought up Devin. Can we talk about how good he has been on defense for this team and not playing the same defense for 40 minutes and changing it up, Buzz, at seemingly the perfect times? Again, another reason. You talk about many reasons why you win and you lose. There's a lot of reasons for those. He's
done a phenomenal job. And I also think that similar to some of the things we were talking about early, we have changed a few things defensively. No major changes, but we've made some tweaks. And then we've practiced those tweaks to where they become part of the catalog that we can use. And then another thing that I think has helped our guys, because I think it's just the age that we're teaching. Most of them grew up looking at a screen, and so they learn best by watching. And so every day that we've worked, including game day this year, we watch film. So tomorrow, shoot around, what time's the game tomorrow?
8.
So that means shoot around is at 12. So tomorrow at 11:31, we will have film. And the kids know what I'm going to talk about tomorrow, and they know what Devin's going to talk about tomorrow. And tomorrow is game 21. And so even though it doesn't seem like a lot, that's 10 and a half extra hours, so to say, of 25 minutes of watching pictures. And the thing that I've learned is the reason we do it on game day is a part of one day we practice their plays, so to say.
Right.
On 2 day, they see their plays. On 1 day, we practice those plays. And then on day of game, we'll show them Oklahoma running it. And then the next clip is us guarding that play that Oklahoma runs and us guarding it. And now they can see themselves doing it. They can watch the team do it. Then they can watch us guard that. And it cheats another rep. And I think, again, when you're talking about the foundation, that's kind of what we refer to our defense as, is foundationally, we're just trying to strengthen our foundation. And as you get closer to February and into February, you're going to accumulate just as many mental reps as you are physical reps. And so being able to accumulate some of those reps in November and December in these tweaks for them to see it, we've made we've made improvements.
To that, not exactly, but a little bit, it reminded me, you're big on why, and you don't ask why after something goes wrong, Buzz. You ask why when something goes right as well. Why is that it's so important for you?
I'm talking a lot less than I ever have in my career, and the reason why is I'm trying to give them more ownership. And so I ask a lot more questions so that it engages them to answer, so that when they answer, they have ownership in the answer. And then we watch pictures and go, is that what you think? And we're doing a lot of that even today. A portion of what I talk about on one days, I let them commentate it. Instead of me just going, it's this, it's that, why didn't you do? I just go, hey, Henry, commentate that. And then we've kind of given it a grading system. So Henry, commentate it, and now give it a grade. And now all of a sudden the predictable and some of the things that you hear me talk about, I let them talk about it so that they have ownership. And my voice, the words that I'm using are less, but the words our players are using is more. And I think over time it's created more continuity, more belief, more ownership, because the guys that are playing less, the guys that are playing a lot, the guys that are hurt, they don't know who I'm going to call on. And I think I learned some of that, just to be transparent, when I was teaching that class this fall. I don't know any of those kids. They don't know me. I probably walk on a different side of the street than they think that I walk on. And, I memorized their names. I got all of their mugshots so I would know their face. I would shake their hand every day as they walked into class, just like I do our kids, so that I could create some level of relationship. And then I got to where, the first 2 or 3 classes, I was telling Josh, because he went, Josh, this is just, it's stale. I'm not stale with our guys, but I know our guys, so I can kind of ebb and flow how I enunciate words, my tone of voice, when to be silly, when not to be silly. I can kind of ride that pretty good from a teaching standpoint. But walking in there with 60 kids, and I don't know them, but I know that they know who I am. Okay. I started by the 3rd session, the 4th session. Hey, guys, this is what I'm thinking about talking about today. And I'm going to give you a couple examples, but I may be going down the wrong path. So I'm going to let you talk about what you see, and then I'm just going to vibe off what you see, and I'll be able to contour it to what I want to communicate to you. And I learned a lot from being half of my kids are those ages now, so they don't really count because they've known me their whole life. And then we've got a bunch of kids that I've known since they were in high school. But doing it with that class really helped me.
Beat the hell out of Oklahoma.
It's important.
Tomorrow, you bet, Buzz. As always, thank you. 8 o'clock is the tip. 7:30, Dos Equis tip-off show. Brian Freeman's our producer. Kevin Mench, our engineer. For Buzz Williams, I'm Andrew Monaco. Thanks and gig 'em. This is Aggie Basketball from Learfield.